The sound of tyres screeching against asphalt still echoes in my ears as I watch the taillights disappear into the darkness. My husband, my own husband, just drove away and left me standing beside our broken sedan on Highway 94 in the middle of nowhere at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday night. Figure it out yourself, Sophia. I'm tired of babysitting you. Those were his last words before climbing into his friend Jake's car that had mysteriously appeared just 20 minutes after our tyre blew. 20 minutes of Michael cursing, kicking the flat tyre, and making it clear that somehow this was all my fault. As if I had personally summoned that rusty nail from the road just to ruin his precious evening plans. My hands are shaking, and it's not from the desert wind cutting through my thin cardigan. It's from the realization that the man who promised to love and protect me just abandoned me like I'm nothing more than roadkill. The spare tyre sits mocking me from the trunk. A 60-pound reminder that I'm a 5'3" woman who's never changed a tyre in her life because Michael always said that's man's work. I pull out my phone, praying for a miracle. No bars. Of course, because this nightmare couldn't get any worse, right? Wrong. The highway stretches endlessly in both directions, a black ribbon cutting through the desert, not a single headlight in sight. The nearest gas station is 15 miles back, and I passed maybe 3 cars in the last hour. My feet are already blistering in these ridiculous heels Michael insisted I wear to dinner with his business partners. The dinner where he spent 2 hours talking about his revolutionary restaurant concept, while I sat there like a pretty decoration, nodding and smiling on cue. God, I was such an idiot. 3 years of marriage, and I'm just now seeing him clearly. The way he controls every aspect of our finances, claiming he's protecting me from the complexities of money management. The way he dismisses my ideas, my dreams of starting my own business, saying I'm not ready for that kind of responsibility. The way he makes me feel stupid and helpless and completely dependent on him for everything. And now, here I am proving his point, helpless, useless, unable to even change a damn tyre. A coyote howls somewhere in the distance, and I wrap my arms around myself, scanning the darkness. This is how I die, isn't it? Stranded on a deserted highway because my husband decided I wasn't worth the inconvenience of waiting for a tow truck. The irony isn't lost on me. Just this morning, Michael was going through our finances, explaining why I couldn't access my inheritance money, the $300,000 my grandmother left me that I stupidly signed over to him for better investment opportunities. He showed me charts and graphs, using big words and condescending tones to make me feel like the money was safer in his hands. "You're too emotional about money, baby," he'd said, kissing my forehead like I was a child. "Let me handle the grown-up stuff." Grown-up stuff, like abandoning your wife on a highway. I try the phone again, holding it up toward the sky like some kind of desperate prayer. Nothing. The battery is at 12%, and even if I had service, who would I call? My parents live across the country. My friends, well, Michael gradually convinced me they were all toxic influences who didn't understand our special relationship. The sound of an engine makes my heart leap, and I wave frantically at the approaching headlights. But the truck passes without even slowing down, leaving me in a cloud of dust and exhaust fumes. I scream after it, a raw, primal sound that gets swallowed by the vast emptiness around me. That's when I see it. A pair of eyes reflecting my phone's flashlight from the side of the road. Yellow eyes, too low to be human, too calculating to be friendly. I back toward the car, my heart hammering against my ribs. More eyes appear. A whole pack of them, moving closer with predatory patience. I fumble for the car door handle, my palms slick with sweat. The door is locked. Of course it is. Michael has the keys. Michael has everything. The keys, the money, the power, the choice to leave me here to die. The animals are getting braver, creeping onto the asphalt. Coyotes. Definitely coyotes. Hungry ones by the look of it. They probably smell my fear, my desperation, my complete and utter helplessness. My phone battery drops to 8%. I climb onto the hood of the car, the metal still warm from the engine. The coyotes circle below, their eyes like tiny lanterns in the darkness. One of them, the biggest one, sits on his haunches and stares at me with an intelligence that makes my skin crawl. "Stay back!" I shout, my voice cracking. "Stay back!" But they know I'm trapped. They know I'm alone. They know I'm prey. That's when the first one lunges. I scramble backwards, sliding off the hood and hitting the ground hard. Pain shoots through my shoulder, but adrenaline keeps me moving. I grab a rock, hurling it at the approaching pack. It hits one in the side, and he yelps and backs away. But the others just spread out, surrounding me. My phone slips from my sweaty grip and clatters onto the asphalt. The screen cracks, the light flickering and dying. 5% battery. This is it. This is how Sophia Martinez dies. Not in a car accident or from some noble disease, but torn apart by wild animals because her husband decided she wasn't worth saving. The largest coyote takes another step forward, his lips pulling back to reveal sharp, yellowed teeth. I close my eyes, thinking about the life I wasted, the dreams I abandoned, the woman I could have been if I hadn't let Michael convince me I was nothing without him. The attack comes from the left, sharp teeth grazing my arm before I manage to kick the animal away. I'm bleeding now, the scent of copper mixing with the desert air. More of them are moving in, emboldened by the first taste of blood. I press my back against the car door, trapped between metal and teeth, and the crushing realization that Michael is probably at home right now, having a beer and telling Jake what an inconvenience I was. Maybe he's already planning his story, how he tried so hard to save our marriage, how I was too unstable, too needy, too much work. Another lunge, another desperate kick. My energy is fading, my movement's getting slower. The pack senses weakness like sharks sense blood. The biggest coyote gathers himself for what I know will be the final attack. His muscles coil, his eyes lock onto mine, and I see my death reflected in those yellow depths. "I'm sorry, Grandma," I whisper to the desert wind. "I'm sorry I let him take everything you worked for." The coyote leaps. Darkness swallows me whole. But somehow, impossibly, I'm still thinking, still aware, still angry. And that anger is the last thing I remember before everything goes black. The first thing I notice isn't the pain. It's the smell of vanilla candles and my mother's lavender detergent. Scents that should be impossible because Mum has been dead for 5 years, and I sure as hell shouldn't be smelling anything if those coyotes got what they wanted. My eyes snap open to soft morning light filtering through familiar pink curtains. Pink curtains I haven't seen since I was 22. The ceiling above me has that same water stain, shaped like a butterfly, the one I used to stare at during my teenage heartbreaks, making wishes that never came true. This is my childhood bedroom, in my parents' house. But that's impossible, because Dad sold this place 3 years ago after Mom's funeral. I bolt upright, my heart hammering as I take in details that make no sense. My vanity mirror reflects a face that's mine, but younger, softer. The stress lines around my eyes are gone, and my hair is the natural auburn I dyed over years ago. My engagement ring is missing, leaving only a faint tan line that I remember from when I first started dating Michael. The calendar on my nightstand makes my blood freeze. 3 years ago. The exact date is 3 years before that nightmare on Highway 94. "What the hell?" I whisper, and even my voice sounds different. Higher, more hopeful. The voice of a woman who hasn't been systematically destroyed yet. I stumble to my dresser, pulling open drawers with shaking hands. Everything is exactly as I left it when I moved out to live with Michael. My college textbooks, my business plan notebooks, even my grandmother's jewellery box that I later pawned to help pay for Michael's emergency car repairs. My phone buzzes on the nightstand, a phone that should be cracked and dead on a desert highway. The screen shows dozens of missed calls and texts from Michael, each message more frantic than the last. "Baby, where are you? I'm worried sick." "Sophia, please call me back. I love you so much. I can't live without you. Please don't do this to us." The lies taste bitter even just reading them, because I remember what he really thought about me. I remember every cruel word, every manipulation, every time he made me feel small and worthless and completely dependent on him. But here's the thing that makes my skin crawl with possibility. I remember everything, not just the emotional scars, but the details. The investments that will skyrocket, the startup company that will go public next year, the downtown property that will triple in value. Every single opportunity Michael kept me away from, claiming I was too naive to understand business. I'm not naive anymore. I grab my laptop and log into my banking app, hardly daring to hope. And there it is. My grandmother's inheritance. All $300,000, sitting in my account like a loaded gun, waiting for the right target. Money Michael convinced me to sign over to him for better investment opportunities that mysteriously never materialized. Not this time. My fingers fly across the keyboard as I research companies I remember Michael mentioning, startups he dismissed as too risky, while secretly planning to invest behind my back. Cybernest, the security software company that will get bought by Google for $50 million. Greenwave, the renewable energy firm that will corner the market on solar panel manufacturing. TechFlow, the app development company that will create the next viral social platform. By noon, I've diversified my inheritance across 12 different investments, each one a sure bet based on my impossible knowledge of the future. Michael wanted to control my money. Now he'll watch me multiply it beyond his wildest dreams while he's still trying to get his pathetic restaurant off the ground. My phone rings. Michael's face fills the screen, that same charming smile I once thought was genuine, those green eyes that used to make my heart flutter. Now, all I see is a predator wearing a human mask. "Sophia, thank God. Where are you, baby? I've been worried sick. You disappeared last night and..." "I'm fine, Michael." My voice is steady, cold. I'm at my parents' house. "Your parents' house? But sweetheart, you moved out. We were supposed to have dinner tonight, remember? I made reservations at that Italian place you love." The Italian place he chose because it's cheap and he could control the conversation, making sure I never got a word in about my own dreams and ambitions. Where he planned to propose with a ring he bought using my credit card. "I need some time to think," I say, watching my reflection in the vanity mirror. The woman staring back at me looks young and innocent, but her eyes hold secrets that could destroy him. Think about what? "Sophia, you're scaring me. Did someone say something to you? Did your friends put ideas in your head again?" My friends. The ones he systematically turned me against, convincing me they were jealous of our perfect relationship. Sarah, who tried to warn me about his ex-girlfriend's restraining order. Jennifer, who noticed how he always seemed to have financial emergencies right after I got paid. Marie, who begged me to keep some money in my own name, just in case. No one said anything, Michael. I just need space. Space? His voice takes on that edge I remember so well, the barely controlled anger that used to terrify me. What kind of space? We're practically engaged, Sophia. We've been planning our future together. Our future. More like his future, funded by my inheritance and built on my complete dependence. Maybe that's the problem, I say. Maybe we rushed things. The silence stretches between us, and I can almost hear the gears turning in his head. He's calculating, strategizing, figuring out how to manipulate me back into his web. But I know all his moves now. I've seen this game played to its devastating conclusion. "Okay," he says finally, his voice shifting to that syrupy sweetness that used to make me melt. "I understand, baby. You're feeling overwhelmed. That's normal. How about this? Why don't I come over? We can talk about whatever's bothering you." "No." "No?" He can't hide his surprise. The Old Sophia never said no to him. Ever. "I said I need space, Michael. That means space. But Sophia, we love each other. Whatever's wrong, we can fix it together. That's what couples do. They work through their problems." Work through problems. Like the problem of him stealing my inheritance, or the problem of him isolating me from everyone who cared about me, or the problem of him leaving me to die on a desert highway. "I'll call you in a few days," I lie smoothly. "A few days? Sophia, what the hell is going on? Yesterday you were talking about moving in together, and now you won't even see me?" Yesterday. In his timeline, yesterday, I was still the naive girl who believed his promises, who trusted him with my heart and my future and my grandmother's money, who thought love meant sacrificing everything for someone else's dreams. People change, Michael. No, they don't. Not overnight. Someone got to you, didn't they? Was it your sister? I knew she never liked me. My sister, Emma, who saw right through him from the beginning, who called him a financial vampire and begged me not to sign over the inheritance, who I stopped talking to because Michael convinced me she was trying to sabotage our happiness. Nobody got to me, I got to me. I hang up before he can respond, my hand steady despite the adrenaline coursing through my veins. Phase 1 complete. Now for the real work. I spend the rest of the day researching properties, specifically a downtown building that I know Michael will desperately need for his restaurant in exactly 18 months. The same restaurant that will fail spectacularly when his investors discover he's been embezzling funds to pay for his gambling addiction. An addiction I only learned about during our divorce proceedings. The building is currently owned by an elderly couple looking to retire. The asking price is reasonable, especially considering what it will be worth once the city announces their downtown revitalization project next year. Michael will offer them half what it's worth, planning to flip it for massive profit once the restaurant fails. But I'm going to buy it first. My phone buzzes with another text from Michael, then another, each message more desperate, more manipulative, more revealing of his true nature. I don't understand what I did wrong. Please don't throw away everything we have. I love you more than life itself. We're meant to be together, Sophia. I'll change whatever you want me to change. Don't let other people poison you against me. I'm coming over. That last message makes my blood run cold, because I remember this pattern too, the love bombing followed by the threats, the promises followed by the ultimatums, the charm followed by the control. But this time, I'm ready for him. This time, I hold all the cards. And Michael Martinez has no idea that he's about to play against a woman who knows every single move he's going to make before he even thinks of making it. The doorbell rings exactly 23 minutes later, just like I knew it would. Because some things never change. And Michael's need to control every situation is one of them. Time for round 2. Through the peephole, I watch Michael pace on my parents' front porch, running his hands through his hair in that calculated gesture he thinks makes him look vulnerable. He's wearing the blue button-down I complimented once, the one he'll pull out whenever he needs to manipulate me. His face is a perfect mask of concern and confusion, the same expression he wore when he accidentally forgot to pick me up from the hospital after my appendix surgery. But I see through it now. I see through all of it. I take a deep breath and open the door, letting him see exactly what he expects. A young woman in pajamas and messy hair, looking lost and confused. The old Sophia who needed saving. "Thank God," he breathes, stepping forward like he's going to embrace me. I step back and his arms drop to his sides. "Sophia, baby, what's happening? You look different." "Different how?" His eyes search my face, looking for the cracks he knows how to exploit. "I don't know, distant, like you're not really here." If only he knew how right he is. "I've been doing a lot of thinking," I say, crossing my arms, "about us, about what I want from life." And he leans against the doorframe, trying to appear casual, but I can see the tension in his shoulders. He's worried he's losing control of his investment. "And I think I want to focus on my career for a while. Maybe start that consulting business I mentioned." The change in his expression is instantaneous. A flash of irritation quickly covered by condescending concern. "Sweetheart, we talked about this. The market is too competitive right now. You need more experience before you take that kind of risk." "What if I told you I had investors interested?" It's a lie, but I watch his pupils dilate slightly. Dollar signs are flashing behind those green eyes. "Investors? Who? What kind of investors?" "Private equity. They're looking for fresh talent in business consulting." I lean against the door, studying his reaction. The initial investment would be substantial, enough to get me established and maybe expand quickly. He's practically salivating now. "How substantial are we talking?" "6 figures. His jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. 6 figures that he can't touch, can't control, can't steal. This isn't going according to his plan. That's amazing, baby. But, these private equity guys can be sharks. Maybe I should sit in on the meetings, help you negotiate. I've got experience with investors from my restaurant concept." Of course he does. The restaurant concept that exists only in PowerPoint presentations and pipe dreams, funded entirely by money he cons from women stupid enough to trust him. Actually, they specifically want to work with female entrepreneurs only. It's part of their investment philosophy. The lie flows smoothly off my tongue, and I watch his face cycle through frustration, calculation, and finally, that sickly sweet smile that means he's about to try a different angle. "Wow, that's wonderful for you, honey. Really. But don't you think we should coordinate our business plans? I mean, once we're married, we'll be partners in everything." Married. The word hits like ice water. In his timeline, he hasn't proposed yet, but in his mind, it's already decided. I'm already his property, my assets already his to manage. "Speaking of marriage," I say carefully, "I think we should slow down a bit. Make sure we're really compatible before we take that step." His smile falters for just a second. "Slow down. Sophia, we've been together for 2 years. We know each other better than anyone. 2 years of him studying me like a lab rat, learning exactly which buttons to push, which insecurities to exploit, which dreams to slowly strangle. He knows me all right. He knows how to destroy me. But he doesn't know the woman I became after he left me to die." "I just think it's smart to be cautious with big decisions," I say. "Maybe keep our finances separate for now, until we're both more established in our careers." And there it is. The mask slips completely for a fraction of a second, and I see the rage underneath. Raw, ugly fury at the thought of not being able to access my inheritance. He recovers quickly, but not quickly enough. "Of course, if that's what you want," he says, his voice tight. "Though I have to say, it hurts a little that you don't trust me with something so important. I thought we were building a life together." The guilt trip. Right on schedule. It's not about trust, Michael. It's about being responsible adults. Right, responsible. He's quiet for a moment, and I can practically hear the gears grinding in his head. Actually, that reminds me, I might have an investment opportunity myself, something big, but it requires some upfront capital. Of course it does. This is where he was planning to ask for my inheritance, probably with some sob story about how his credit is tied up in other ventures. Oh, what kind of opportunity? Real estate. There's a building downtown that's perfect for my restaurant, but it's about to go on the market. If I can secure the funding quickly, I could get it at below market value. The building. My building, if everything goes according to plan. The building I put an offer on 3 hours ago. That sounds risky, I say. Real estate can be unpredictable. Not this property. I've done my research. The location is prime, and once the city announces their revitalization project, the value will triple. He's so confident, so sure of his inside information. He has no idea that while he was playing small-time con games, I was learning about real business from his own future mistakes. How much upfront capital are we talking about? 250, maybe 300 if we want to renovate immediately? My entire inheritance, of course. That's a lot of money, Michael. It's an investment in our future, baby. Once this restaurant takes off, we'll be set for life. You could quit that consulting idea and focus on what really matters. Us. There it is. The real agenda. Steal my money, kill my dreams, and turn me into a pretty ornament for his fantasy life. I'll think about it, I lie. His eyes narrow slightly. Think about it. Sophia, opportunities like this don't wait. The seller wants a decision by Friday. Then you better find another investor. The words hang in the air between us like a slap. His face goes through several expressions before settling on wounded confusion. Another investor? Sophia, I'm offering to include you in something incredible. Most women would be honoured to what? Hand over their life savings to their boyfriend's get-rich-quick scheme? It's not a scheme. His voice raises, and for just a moment, I see the man who will leave me stranded on Highway 94. It's a legitimate business opportunity, and I'm trying to share it with the woman I love. If you love me, you won't pressure me into making financial decisions I'm not comfortable with. He stares at me for a long moment, and I can see him recalculating, adjusting his strategy. When he speaks again, his voice is softer, more manipulative. You're right. I'm sorry, baby. I'm just excited about the possibility of building something together. But if you're not ready, I understand. He steps closer, reaching for my hands. Maybe we could start smaller. Just a few thousand to help me secure the property while I look for other investors. A few thousand, then a few more. Then just enough to cover the down payment. Then just enough to cover the renovation. Then just enough to cover the operating costs. I've seen this movie and I know exactly how it ends. No, Michael, no. I said no. I'm not investing in your restaurant. His hands drop from mine, and for a second, his mask slips again. I see the calculation, the cold assessment of whether I'm still worth the effort if I won't give him money. Fine, he says finally. Fine, I'll find other investors. But don't come crying to me when you realise you missed out on the opportunity of a lifetime. He turns to leave, then stops and looks back at me with those green eyes that used to make me weak in the knees. I just hope this consulting business of yours works out, Sophia, because it would be a real shame if you ended up broke and alone, wondering what might have been a threat, wrapped in concern. How very Michael of him. I'll take that risk, I say, and close the door in his face. Through the window, I watch him stalk to his car, his charming facade completely gone. He slams the door hard enough to rattle the windows and speeds off, leaving rubber on the asphalt. 3 hours later, my real estate agent calls to confirm that my offer on the downtown building has been accepted. The elderly couple was so pleased to find a serious buyer who didn't try to lowball them that they took my offer immediately. Michael doesn't know it yet, but he just lost the cornerstone of his entire plan. And tomorrow, when he tries to make his own offer, he'll discover that the building already has a new owner. A woman who knows exactly what he was planning to do with it. But that's just the opening move. Because I have so much more planned for Michael Martinez. So much more than he could ever imagine. The real game is just beginning. 6 months later, I'm sitting in the driver's seat of my brand new Porsche 911, watching Michael through the floor-to-ceiling windows of his favourite coffee shop. The same coffee shop where he's about to meet his new target, a sweet, naive girl named Sarah, who just inherited $250,000 from her deceased aunt. My investments have paid off spectacularly. Cybernest went public last month, turning my $50,000 stake into $2 million. Greenwave just signed a government contract that tripled their stock value overnight. I'm worth more money now than Michael will see in his entire pathetic lifetime. But money isn't revenge. Money is just the weapon. My phone buzzes with a text from my private investigator. Package delivered. Photos confirmed. He's meeting her now. I adjust my rearview mirror and watch Michael walk into the coffee shop, wearing that same blue shirt and that same charming smile. He spots Sarah immediately, young, pretty, vulnerable, and sitting alone at a corner table with financial documents spread in front of her. Perfect prey. I know exactly what he's going to say to her. I know exactly how he'll compliment her hair, ask about the papers she's reading, mention casually that he's in investment consulting. I know because he used the exact same script on me 3 years ago. But here's what Michael doesn't know. Sarah isn't alone. The man in the business suit 2 tables over? That's Detective Rodriguez, an old friend of my father's. The woman with the laptop near the window? That's Jennifer Chen, investigative journalist for the Tribune. And those financial documents Sarah is studying? They're fake bait, designed to draw Michael in. My phone rings. He's approaching her now, Detective Rodriguez says through my earpiece, making contact. I watch through the window as Michael slides into the seat across from Sarah, his face animated with false concern as he points at her papers. I can't hear the words, but I know them by heart. Investment troubles? I might be able to help. Yes, he's offering to help with her investments, Rodriguez confirms. She's playing her part perfectly. Sarah laughs at something Michael says, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear in that shy gesture that men like Michael mistake for weakness. But Sarah isn't weak. Sarah is a trained actress I hired specifically for this moment. He's asking about her inheritance now. Jennifer's voice crackles through my earpiece, getting specific about amounts. Right on schedule. Michael can't help himself when he smells money. It's like watching a shark circle blood in the water. My phone buzzes with another text, this one from my lawyer. Restaurant permits denied. Building seizure complete. He's officially ruined. I smile, remembering the look on Michael's face 3 weeks ago when he discovered I owned his dream building. He'd stormed into my new office, a sleek downtown space that used to be his second choice location, demanding to know how I'd stolen his opportunity. I didn't steal anything, I'd told him calmly. I just made a better offer. His restaurant dream died that day, along with his backup plans and his reputation among potential investors. Turns out, when you burn bridges with as many people as Michael has, word gets around quickly about your character. He's asking for her phone number, Rodriguez reports, setting up a dinner meeting. Just like he did with me. Just like he probably did with dozens of other women before me. Michael Martinez doesn't just steal money. He steals dreams, hope, and faith in love itself. But not anymore. Phase 2 is go, I say into my phone. Through the window, I watch Sarah's expression change from shy interest to shock as she looks at her phone. She's receiving the photos my investigator just sent. Pictures of Michael with multiple women, copies of police reports from his ex-girlfriend's restraining order, financial records showing his debts and failed schemes. Michael notices her change in demeanour immediately. He leans forward, trying to salvage the situation with that silver tongue that once convinced me to hand over my entire future. But Sarah stands up, her voice loud enough that other customers turn to look. "Are you serious? You think I'm stupid enough to fall for this?" Michael's face goes pale as Sarah holds up her phone, showing him the evidence of his predatory pattern. The entire coffee shop is watching now as she tears into him with surgical precision. "Did you really think you could con me into giving you my inheritance? Did you think I wouldn't check your background? God, you're pathetic." Michael's mouth opens and closes like a fish out of water. This isn't how the script is supposed to go. His victims are supposed to be trusting, naive, easy to manipulate. "I don't know what lies someone told you," he starts, but Sarah cuts him off. "Lies? These are police records, Michael. Court documents, bank statements. This is who you really are. People are taking out their phones now, recording the scene. By tomorrow, Michael's humiliation will be all over social media. No more anonymous hunting grounds for him. That's when he sees me." Through the window, our eyes meet, and I watch the realization dawn on his face. The coffee shop, the timing, the perfect setup. This has my fingerprints all over it. I roll down my window and wave at him with a smile that could cut glass. He storms out of the coffee shop, pushing past curious onlookers and nearly running into traffic to reach my car. His face is purple with rage, his carefully maintained facade completely shattered. "You!" he screams, pounding on my window. "You did this! You ruined everything!" I lower the window just enough to speak. "I didn't ruin anything, Michael. I just gave Sarah the information she needed to make an informed decision. You know, like the information I wish someone had given me." "This isn't over," he snarls. "You think you're so smart, but you have no idea what you've started." "Oh, I know exactly what I've started." I put the car in drive, watching his reflection in my side mirror. "I've started your ending." As I drive away, I pull out a burner phone and dial a number I memorized months ago. "Hello, Emma," I say when a familiar voice answers. "This is going to sound crazy, but you need to listen to me very carefully. Your sister Sarah is in danger." Because here's the thing Michael doesn't understand. The thing that will destroy him completely. I didn't just get a second chance at my own life. I got the knowledge to save every woman he's ever going to hurt. Every Sarah, every Jennifer, every Marie. I have their names, their addresses, their timelines. I know exactly when and how Michael will find them, because in my original timeline, I watched him destroy each of them after our divorce. The restraining orders, the bankruptcy filings, the suicide attempts. I've seen it all. But now I can stop it all. My phone rings as I pull into my driveway. It's Detective Rodriguez. "We got him," he says. "Financial fraud, attempted theft by deception and harassment. With Sarah's testimony and the evidence you provided, he's looking at serious jail time." "Good," I say, but I'm not done. Not even close. Because tomorrow morning, Michael will wake up in his jail cell and discover that his bail has been anonymously paid. He'll be released, confused but grateful, thinking he caught a lucky break. What he won't know is that I paid his bail. What he won't know is that I've arranged for him to meet another potential victim, a lonely widow named Patricia who just cashed out her retirement fund. And Patricia will be ready for him too, because Michael Martinez is trapped now in something worse than prison, something more permanent than death. He's trapped in a loop of his own making, doomed to repeat his predatory pattern over and over again. Only now, every single victim will be prepared for him. Every single woman will know exactly who he is before he even speaks. And I'll be there for each one, watching from my Porsche as justice gets served again and again and again. Some people get second chances, but monsters like Michael get trapped in an endless cycle of consequences, facing a new version of every woman he's ever wronged. And this time, we're all armed with the truth.